Faizan cleared PMP with all above target now, just now. So Faizan is working in US and he joined us in batch 14. Yes, the last batch. And he is the third person in your batch, Faizan, right? You,
Yes.
Saad Sari, and Saurav. So Faizan, first of all, extreme congratulations for you. And we did play a gamble, but the gamble proved to be a very good gamble. So Faizan, it's your journey. Everything you want to share, you can share. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Amer sir, for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. The journey began actually with just a phone call to my brother-in-law, and he recommended me to you. And I did some research, matter of 30 minutes, and I just call you up and ask about the opportunity. You said that batch starting next weekend and I need to sign up. So I just signed up and just followed your plan to the teeth. And pretty much it worked out by itself. I had some minor hiccups, well, minor and major hiccups in my life. So I just, was quite nervous with the preparations and everything. So, but you were right there to support me on every step of the way. And the results are speaks volumes. So thank you again. Thank you for all your efforts, in encouraging me, in just supporting me when I was down, and just motivating me along the way. So thank you, Amer. Thank you, Amer.
Well, and thank you for joining this. Thank you for coming it. So if you haven't trusted in that 30 minutes, it would have been extremely difficult to help you. You don't understand how much that's an honor for me, how much I love that you came to me and I was proven useful. It's my honor, Faizan, that this journey, I know all the difficulty, big one, small one, how much you had. So really feel proud of it and just it's my proud. So Fazan, let's talk about the preparation, how we did it, how we give the exam. Please, in your words.
So basically, the thing that mostly helped me was your mind maps in the classes, right? So the mind maps and the sessions that really gives a student the opportunity to express themselves. You work in a team environment. You after your sessions, we have the opportunity to make use of the materials and then present their understandings in front of you. So that was really helpful when it comes to learning. Then obviously when the sessions were over, the materials that you had for us, repeatedly going over the materials helped me a lot. Everything was clear, and I asked you that, hey, I feel confident. Then you provided me with your roadmap, and you just after each topics, the idea was to complete 50 questions and then report back to you. And there were some days where I lacked uh, you know more time, but thanks to your follow-ups, constant follow-ups, I would say, you made me back on track. So after that, I ran into some hiccups, and then when the date was coming in closer for the examination, so you and I worked one on one pretty much every day, uh, for however time I needed. They were always there to support me and guide me through the process. So, like you said in the beginning, it's a gamble that we took because uh, you know of some foreseen circumstances, but we overcame those gamble, and now we are sitting above target.
So that was an interesting thing. Can you explain the gamble? Why we called it gamble? That was a very interesting thing.
No, I would say that the gamble was taken actually 2 nights before. I was practicing some of the mocks which I thought were quite different from your mocks, and I was not getting the desired result. So you had me focus on the people perspective of the test. And since that's the majority of the test, and you asked me to start with the questions, small amount of questions that helped me raise my confidence. And, as the score grew, my confidence grew too. So pretty much we targeted uh, people, then process. And due to lack of time, I believed we avoided the business environment, but I guess uh, that paid off well, right?
I wouldn't say, Fazan, more of a lack of time. It was more of a my strategy. Business environment is just 8%. People exam is dominated with the people, and again that area come in the process. So that was basically my thinking, and that is my give to all the PMP aspirant to do the same thing. So Fazan, let's talk about a little bit about those 6 mocks that you did. How relevant they were to the real exam.
Actually, I mean, that was quite relevant. The first three that I did was, pretty much what we have gone through in the sessions, and the fourth one was pretty tricky. So, that actually prepared me for the questions in exams. All the materials were that they were asking in the mosque was pretty relevant. So I could relate the class sessions and the materials that you have given me. Those are pretty much seen on the mocks. So I would say, yeah, pretty relevant information and pretty close to the test. So your mocks rock.
Thank you for saying that. Actually, I wouldn't say those are my mocks. Student like you, they have made all those mocks. So I really appreciate the way you are saying. Okay, let's talk more about the we took exam in home because we could not get the date in center. So how did you manage the time? Time management is an important thing.
Yeah, so I was actually spending, well, since I was coming from your mocks, I just, since I was actually preparing from your mocks, I just set a goal for myself that I'm just going to spend a minute or minute and a half on each questions. So when I was doing your mocks, it helped me time my strategy in the test. And since there was, the closest available center was within 4 hours, so I didn't find that feasible for me to drive 4 hours and come back. So that's why I scheduled at home. And I was um, about 5 minutes short of ending. So the time management went well in the first 120 questions, but the last 60 questions pretty much ate all of the reserve time that I had saved. So I would say practicing the mocks made the whole difference, because as the more you practice, the more you're aware of your strengths and weakness. So in the real exam, you're aware of the situation and you know what to do.
Okay, now that's a great thing to say. How you just put it into the context. That's an interesting thing to put there. Okay, so let's see, uh, which area was most targeted in the exam.
People and process. Mostly things were about agile and predictive. There were few drag and drop, but there were 6 or 7 multiple choice. So options were select 2 or select 3, but yeah, mostly there were people. And since now we living in COVID times, mostly the questions were regarding virtual teams and all that. So how would you manage all that?
So how would you manage all that? How would you manage the virtual environment? In which area you will play with the virtual environment and things like that, right?
Correct.
Okay, so moving forward, so how many formula questions did you have?
0.
Zero. Any critical path?
1.
One critical path. And in that critical path question, like, did you have to calculate the critical path?
No.
So only the overall view was there, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay, that's an interesting thing to understand always. Okay, so any compliance question?
One.
One compliance question.
Yeah.
How many risk questions do you think?
There was a lot. I think 10 plus. There
So
was a
risk
lot of.
risk
Yeah.
risk domain is important in
Yeah.
that context, that you can get more questions on the risk domain. What about quality?
I would say 5 to 6.
5 to 6. And procurement?
Again, 5 to 6.
5 to 6. So
Yeah.
your exam was more equally distributed, if I say it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every domain of the was touched, but the predominant remains the people, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Predominant area was the people. Even other things were there, but the real thing was people. And if you put it about the process, how much process was there?
I would say 5 to 8%.
Hmm. So when
Not
you
much.
what when you say process, what do you mean by that?
I'm sorry.
You said process was 5 to 8 or 5 to 10%. So when you say process, what do you think process is?
What would you do in this situation? Um, what plans would you implement?
Okay. So what you would do in this situation? What plan would you do? Things like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So any MBTI question?
No. Most of the
No.
questions were worded as what would you do? What would the project manager do?
What would the project manager do in these circumstances? Something
Yes.
like this. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. So uh, any hotspot question?
Actually, there was one, but I didn't totally understood that questions. I remember that watching one of the journeys, and someone asked the questions for sun, uh, something related to sun. That question came up actually, so I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that's an interesting thing. Someone asked yesterday in the coaching call, and I put it there. Not in the coaching call, but okay, that was the one question. But we'll look into that and put into the
That was
context.
somebody's journey actually.
Somebody journeys. Okay, so moving forward. So what about the Scrum framework? How much the Scrum framework was there in the exam?
Not that much.
The
Maybe
mi-
2, 3 questions. Not that much.
the mindset was more there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The document I made, the Word document, how much that was relevant for that?
That was that was a deal breaker. So I was having some difficulty in understanding, when there's a adaptive life cycle and a hybrid life cycle. So that pretty much cleared the path for me. There was a lot of clutter in my mind regarding those two topics. So yeah, thank you for that.
Okay, like this means that that document helped you in moving forward, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And those last day three documents that I did, were they for revision? Were you able to go through them or no?
I was only able to go through the last Word document, and I didn't get a chance to, review the remaining two. But like I said, your mocks are pretty sufficient. If anyone wants to thoroughly go there and then, practice the root cause analysis and understand from their mistakes, that's sufficient because they have already taken the class from you. They have reviewed the material, and after the mocks, I don't think there's any opportunity for anyone to get, below target.
Thank you very much for saying that and putting that into that context. Okay, so in this context, now I would like to have your final advice for all the PMP aspirant, how they should prepare for the PMP exam and what they can expect. Your final advice.
I think I would just encourage everyone to believe in themselves. Nothing is impossible when you need to find yourself committed to a task. The universe just makes way for you. And in my case, you came in, in in the conversation, and then we picked up from there. So just anyone following, just follow Amer sir guidelines, his teaching methods, and his roadmap, and he doesn't leave a stone unturned. So he thoroughly follows up with you, and sometimes that takes a lot of effort to reply back because sometimes you haven't prepared anything, but that's the whole purpose, to follow up. And yeah, just good luck to everyone, and just follow Amir sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for saying that and putting that into this context. Really appreciate how you basically put everything into a summary. Now you know my next thing, each one teach one.
Yep.
Yes, now you have a lot of batchmates that need a lot of help in certain ways. I highly recommend that the way Saurabh is doing, I really hope you can do the same and help those PMP aspirants to clear the exam.
One thing I just want to say, I feel Saurav has talk a lot about believing in yourself and committing to the program. So his conversation has pretty much helped me out too. So thank you to him as well. Thank you
Thank
to
you.
you. Yeah.
Thank you. The same thing you need to do now. Each one, teach one. And Fazan, thank you very much. And now I know there were many things now in this time. I hope the best of luck for you for future.
Thank you, Amr sir.
Thank you.